First up on today's show, we have a story from Harrison Lawton.
Then we have another story by Douglas Burke.
After that, we have a new edition of Sports Desk.
All that and more coming up on this episode of Flyer News.
Life could be a dream if only all my precious plans would come true. If you would let me spend my whole life loving you, life could be a dream, sweetheart.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Flyer News. Today is day 7 with periods running C, B, G, F, E. I'm quite possibly Max Lee.
And I'm definitely the Janie Harris.
Janie, how fast can you run?
Pretty fast.
Faster than a car?
No. What are you, faster than a car?
Yes, I can run 1 million miles per hour.
Prove it.
There, I just did.
Well, on the topic of fast things, we have Harrison Lawton with a story about F1 racing.
2 weekends ago, Monaco hosted their 68th Grand Prix, the third most in F1 history. Going into the weekend, Charles Leclerc hoped to finally get his first win or podium at his home race. The Monaco native has never finished on the podium and did not finish his last 2 Monaco Grand Prix. Max Verstappen wants to extend his championship lead further, as well as Red Bull. Going into qualifying, Ferrari looked very quick, with Charles Leclerc setting the fastest time. There was a red flag in Q1 as Yuki Tsunoda was slow around one of the chicanes. Lance Stroll again out of qualifying in the first session. It has been a disappointing season for him so far. On to Q2, not much interesting happened with Schumacher, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Bottas, and Tsunoda out. At the end of Q3, Perez crashed into the barriers at turn 8, and a few moments later, Sainz crashed into him, red flagging the session for the second time. And for the second time, the driver on pole was decided by a red flag. On the day of the race, the rain was forecast, which had many excited due to its unpredictable nature. One of the most famous rain races was in Monaco, the 1996 Grand Prix, and it had the fewest ever finishers with only 3. The race start was delayed, but it eventually started under the safety car. On lap 2, Nicholas Latifi and Lance Stroll both hitting the barriers as they find the track extremely slippery. Gasly got off to a great start with 2 overtakes on a track known for not being able to overtake at, continuing in P12. On lap 22, the Ferraris did a double pit stop that saw them both lose track position, with Perez leading and Max Verstappen in second. Ferrari have always been known to be very bad at race strategy, proving once again that there is no improvement in that department of the team. On lap 27, Mick Schumacher crashed into the barriers at the final chicane, and the rear of his car came apart from the rest of it, causing a red flag, reminiscent of Romain Grosjean's crash in Bahrain 2020. In the final 10 minutes of the race, the top 4 drivers were all under a second and a half from each other, all hoping for a race win. But in the end, the order stayed the same with Perez first, Sainz second, and Verstappen third. Monaco has always been a controversial track, with minimal overtakes and boring races, but this weekend, the race was unpredictable with some overtakes. And with that, back to the desk.
Janie, could I borrow $175,000?
Maybe. What do you need it for?
Well, you don't need to know.
Is it for the new DeLorean Alpha 5?
You are correct. Also, that's a very accurate guess. How did you guess that?
Because Douglas Burke has a story exactly about that.
DeLorean is back with an electric car and some caveats. In 1985, the movie Back to the Future made a DMC DeLorean in both the time machine and a household name. Almost 4 decades and several corporation iterations later, the latest car maker to bear the DeLorean name is getting closer to launching its highly anticipated electric vehicle. The DeLorean Motor Company revealed new images and details about its new car, the Alpha 5, to their early access subscribers on Monday for its website, DeLorean.com, went public the next day. The concept car, which was first teased back in February, is set to premiere at a prestigious California car show, Del Beach Constructores de Elegance, in mid-August, with limited production set to begin in 2024. The Alpha 5 is a representation of the past 40 years of DeLorean. Chief Marketing Officer Troy Beats said in a statement, "There was this enormous responsibility to make sure we honored the history of the DeLorean brand, but with even greater responsibility to create its future. I think we did both with the Alpha 5. Tristis Dos Viras, the current CEO of DeLorean Motor Company, told Texas Public Radio in March that the new car will be built in an unconstructed building in San Antonio. The company planning to hire up to 400 people over the next several years. Though he told British trade publication Autocar that the new car will be built in Italy. And while the L5 is advertised as a comeback, he stressed the brand never really left. With a very sleek design, the new DeLorean is predicted to go from 0 to 60 in 2.99 seconds, with a top speed of 144 miles per hour and a range of 300 plus miles, and a drag coefficient of 0.2, according to DMC DeLorean's official website. You can also pre-order a DeLorean right now on their website.
Stop the presses and rewind the tapes because today is National VCR Day. Today, in 1970, this now antiquated electromechanical device was released to the masses, allowing people just like you and me to enjoy high-quality video content from the comfort of their own homes. So, if you have a VCR, today's a great day to give it some life. At least it's not Laserdisc.
On this day, in 1002 AD, Henry II, colloquially known as Saint Henry the Exuberant, was elected and crowned King of Germany, although his right to rule was contested by German nobles and the like of Count Ezzo of Lotharingia. He was announced and crowned king by Willigis, Archbishop of Mainz. He would later go on to be the Holy Roman Emperor. Rock on, Henry. Max, can you dunk?
Yes, I can.
Really? I feel like that would be difficult for you.
Well, actually, Janie, I'm using reverse stilts, which give me negative height. I'm really 8 feet tall.
Oh, really? Can I see?
No.
Anyway, here's Sports Desk with Jake Braverman and Logan Shapiro.
This house on memories. Take my picture now. Shake it till you see it. And when your fantasies become your legacy, promise me a place in your house of memories.
Good morning and welcome back to Sports Desk. I'm your host, Jake Braverman.
And I'm Logan Shapiro. In the past week, the Red Sox have gone off on a streak and the Celtics have started playing in the finals. Let's look at all the exciting news.
The Red Sox started the past week with a quick 2-game series against the Cincinnati Reds. In the first game, the game was scoreless until the 6th inning after the Reds scored off a Rafael Devers throwing error. Again in the 8th, Lopez scored on a throwing error, this time by Bogaerts. Verdugo tried to bring them back but lost the game 1-2. In Game 2, they put up 4 big runs in the 4th inning, and they stormed away to a 7-1 win. The series ended up being 1-1, and then they traveled to Oakland. Bogaerts hit a solo home run in the beginning of the 4th to take the lead and stormed to a 4-2 lead. In the 9th, after multiple doubles by Devers and Bogaerts, the Red Sox secured their win 7-2. In the next game, they got to a quick lead in the 3rd with 3 runs and didn't let the lead go. They won the game 8-0, and in the 3rd game, a strong 6th inning because of a home run by Cordero led the Red Sox to completing a sweep against Athletics. As last night, the Sox started a new series against the Angels and hope to continue their winning streak.
Moving on to the Celtics, they started Game 1 in the finals on Friday against the Warriors. In the first quarter, the game seemed like a standstill, with the score being 28-32 Warriors. The same in the second. At halftime, the score was 56-54. In the third quarter, everything changed. The Warriors played like the team they are, outscoring the Celtics by 14. They were up by 10 going into the fourth quarter, and it seemed like the Warriors were going to win it. Well, that did not happen. The Celtics came all the way back to within 3 points and then proceeded to go on a 17-0 run to end off the game. The whole team were not missing any shots and put up 40 in the fourth, 9 from 11 from 3. What an outstanding performance with Al Horford, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and Derek White. The Celtics stole Game 1, winning 120-108. Game 2 started off exactly like Game 1, a close score all throughout the first and all throughout the second. The score at halftime was 50-52 Warriors. Again, the Warriors turned on the Jets in the third, and Poole had a party hitting 3 to end the third quarter. This time, the Celtics couldn't play like they did in Game 1 and fell to the Warriors with a score of 88-107. Game 3 is on Wednesday at 9 o'clock in Boston. Only 3 more wins until Banner 18. And one last thing. Just yesterday, Bruins owner Cam Neely and GM Don Sweeney announced that they are going to let go of Bruce Cassidy as head coach. Bruce Cassidy spent 6 seasons serving as head coach for the Bruins, including a Stanley Cup appearance in 2019. This decision was quite surprising across Boston, as Cassidy had a stellar record of 245 wins, 108 losses, and 46 draws. This may foreshadow a new era of the Boston Bruins, with Patrice Bergeron's future also in jeopardy. Now that's all from us. I'm Logan Shapiro.
And I'm Jake Braverman. This has been Sports Desk. See you all next week.
Unfortunately, that is all for today's episode of Flyer News. You can rewatch this and other broadcasts again on our YouTube channel or watch them on the FEC TV tab on the school's website.
Also be sure to check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Framingham High Studios.
For Flyer News, I'm Janie Harris.
And I'm Max Lee. But stay tuned for The Early Bird, hosted by Zach Trotterman. Have a tantalizing Tuesday, FHS.
And hoping you would come around. I've been giving out chances every time, and all you do is let me down. And it's taken me this long, baby, but I figured you out. And you're thinking we'll be fine again, but not this time around. You don't have to come anymore. Believe you if I didn't know. Could've loved you all my life if you hadn't left me waiting in the cold. And you got your share of secrets, and I'm tired of being last to know. And now you're asking me to listen, 'cause it's worked each time before. But you don't have to call anymore. Strong
morning, FHS. I am your host, Zach Charman, and this is the Early Bird. Casey Brewer, your other host, could not make the show today. His plane actually got delayed from the Arizona desert, so the timetable of his return is a little unknown right now. But I actually filled up my mug with water today. It's Tuesday, and what they like to say in the show business is that the show must go on. So if my director would be as kind as to roll the intro, we can get the show on the road.
Good morning.
What's up?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Welcome back, Flowers. Today is a CBGFE, and we only have about one more regular week before finals. Now, I know it can be stressful, but to ease everyone's mind, I would like to talk about one of my favorite franchises this morning. Star Wars, perhaps one of the most iconic film franchises, is on the rise once more. With the release of the first 3 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi and the 4th coming out tonight, I'm ecstatic about the future of the franchise. However, that is not what I want to talk about at the moment. We have an entertainment segment for all that current stuff. Today, I want to take a look back at the franchise and some of my favorite moments. Now, many question which order to view the movies in. Do you watch chronologically? In release order? What do you do? For me, the only correct answer is 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, because you want to start it in the way it came out, go back, and then you got to watch it again because it's just so good. That's definitive for me. The first movie I want to talk about, though, is the self-titled one, 1977, A New Hope, as we like to call it. This movie is great for just so many reasons, but for me, I love the coming-of-age story that comes from it and all of the characters that grow on you that you begin to love. While the world building isn't as great as the prequels, this movie was revolutionary and there was nothing like it at the time of its release. The galaxy far, far away really starts to build here in this movie. While from a directorial standpoint, The Empire Strikes Back may be the best movie in all 3 trilogies, it surprisingly is not really my favorite. However, this movie does really make the audience care for the protagonists, especially as Vader brutally hurts all of them. This movie cements Darth Vader, for me, as the greatest villain of all time, especially with the twist that we all know and love at the end. Speaking of Vader, though, I want to talk about his rise in Revenge of the Sith. Now, I, along with probably many of you, grew up on the prequels. It came out in our generation, and it holds a special place in at least my heart. But episodes 1 and 2, my mind, great stories. Love the idea of the Galactic Civil War, but execution and overambition of director and creator George Lucas really tarnishes those 2 for me. But episode 3, that hits all of the right spots. The emotions between Anakin and Obi-Wan, the ultimate downfall of the Republic. This era of Star Wars will always be so interesting to me because you watch Anakin go from the person you root for to this evil monster. All the while, you know it's coming because you've seen the original movies, right? And lastly, I want to talk about the dark horse of the franchise. Rogue One is a spectacular film, and the only great Star Wars movie to really be produced by Disney. What was perhaps the most unnecessary movie I've ever seen, we know how it has to end before it starts. With the rebels getting the Death Star plans, it creates these characters that we truly care about despite this. And we really don't want to see any of them die, even though they all do. And whether it's Jyn or her father, the unsung hero who put forth into action the destruction of the battle station, we really care about their stories. And don't get me started on Chirrut, the blind force-sensitive fighter who has one of the most impactful deaths in the entire franchise. Also, not to mention the goosebumps I still get from seeing Vader return to the big screen, cutting down those rebels. Anyways, that's all for me about this. Thank you for giving me your time, and I will now send it off with a pledge with a flyer.
This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Logan Shapiro. I can't prolong C period any longer, so we shall move on to the announcements. Let's roll the intro.
Hooked on a feeling
Whoa, this book is pretty good, but you want to know what's even better than this book? The yearbook. So, if you want to be a part of the yearbook next year, like the 2023 yearbook, I think that would be really cool. And so if you're interested in that, even just like 1% interest, all you have to do is come to our interest meeting in 8206 at 2:15 today. So you can, yearbook it up, and I think that could be really cool. Can't wait to see you.
Thank you, Joaquin. I actually do have that 1.1 interest in the yearbook. I'm class of 2023. That'd be pretty cool. But that's all for today, and I want to remind everyone that to make an announcement like Joaquin, visit the link in our Instagram bio at Framingham High Studios. And if you want to rewatch this episode or any other previous episodes, I know you all are doing that already, though. Check the YouTube at Framingham High Studios. Before the school year ends, we do want to get a few guests on here, so don't be too shy to reach out to me, or else I'll have to come to you. Anyways, the day is young and not getting any younger, so that's all from me for today. Remember, Flyers, so the early bird gets the worm, and have a terrific Tuesday.